Hello and welcome to Croke Park. We had plenty of drama here at HQ over the last couple of days, and here to talk about all the action is Eircom Ambassador David Brady and Conor McKeon of the Herald. David, I don't even know where to start. So much happened here over the last 2 days, but I think maybe Dublin and Fermanagh probably offered us the most. The Fermanagh fans certainly seemed to enjoy it. What did you make of it?
Maria, I thought it was a credit to Fermanagh, Pete McGrath, the players and the supporters. People were saying it could have been a 30 or 40 points, victory for Dublin. And it could have been, but Fermanagh stuck to their game plan. They didn't automatically go defensively. They said, we're a good team, we have good forwards, and they used it. Like Sean Quigley, for me, he'd make any team in the country at the minute the way he's playing. But it was the way that Fermanagh embraced defeat. They didn't sit down, they didn't let Dublin, overawe them. And to come within single figures and the way they were applauded off that park yesterday, I thought it was excellent.
Conor, in the second half, did Dublin just take the foot off the gas, or have Fermanagh found a bit of a weakness?
I don't think it's necessarily that they found a bit of weakness, Marie, but I think the difference between what Fermanagh did yesterday and what the three teams who played Dublin in the Leinster Championship was, Fermanagh actually played with the same kind of intensity and the same level of motivation in the last 10-15 minutes than they did in the first 10 or 15. And Dublin, like all teams, are as vulnerable in the last 10 or 15 minutes than they are at the start of the game.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams will look at that game yesterday, Conor, and say there is certain areas where we can attack Dublin. I think definitely the pace at which Fermanagh played the game. Every free kick was taken within a millisecond. They didn't allow Dublin set up or retreat or get comfortable. And I think it's it's going to be looked by a lot of teams in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Dublin are yet to play a Division 1 team, but their fans are still very confident. Paulie sent us in this boast telling us how great he thinks his team are.
I don't think there's ever going to be any outcome other than a Dublin win, because they are in a class of their own. And I think they showed it in both halves, particularly the second half. They didn't even put their foot full on the pedal and still got the win.
You can now give your views on the Eircom GAA channel on Boast. This can be downloaded on Google Play or the App Store, and you can be in with the chance to win some All-Ireland final tickets and join us here on this very panel on August 31st. David, August 2nd, Kerry are found in form. You can nearly set your clock by it.
Unfortunately, yes, for the rest of the teams, because it was a devastating performance. And I think if you look at it, and if you look at the Eamon Fitzmaurice's and Jim Gavin's of this world, they go, how do I create a sense of fear in my team? I think creating a sense of fear would be dropping the likes of Michael Darragh-Macaulay if he wasn't injured. But definitely Ciaran Whelan yesterday being dropped was an indication to say whoever's gone out here needs to display and play with a sense of 70 minutes in them, and there's no guarantees. And that was shown from the Gooch coming on, scoring 2-3, to Darren O'Sullivan coming on and just changing the ball game altogether.
One person, of course, that everybody was looking at yesterday was Colm Cooper, and Flann Markham shouted for him. He said impressive leadership and scoring ability on show, scored 2-3 and assisted numerous times more. How great is it for Kerry to have him back, and back to what seems like his best? I
think when the Gooch plays and plays well, Kerry are nearly unstoppable, and it's good to see him back. Some people say it takes 6 months or a year and a half to get back, but when you have that kind of class and genius, I think it only takes probably 6 weeks.
Conor, you were in that post-match press conference yesterday. Was Eamon Fitzmaurice worried about James O'Donoghue's injury?
Yeah, no, he seemed to be genuinely worried. He didn't give very much away, which is his style, but you could tell that it was the one blemish on an otherwise absolutely pristine afternoon.
Okay, now I've been looking forward to talking to you about Galway and Donegal. You predicted a 4-point Galway win. What went wrong for them?
Honestly, I thought before the game Galway could have done it. I thought they were on a nice momentum. And again, certain situations in that game, I would say if Michael Murphy had got a black card, which I thought he deserved, and that's not discrediting the man, I thought Galway could have been well in that. There was 1 or 2 situations where a more experienced team would have got their free 35-yard out, that it went a point up, but they let Donegal come back at them.
Conor, Donegal, are there question marks about them? Was it just David that thought maybe they weren't going to win?
I think there was a certain point in that game when we were all looking at it thinking that this is there for Galway. They had set up correctly, they were keeping possession of the ball. I think there was a statistic for hand passes at one stage midway through the second half, and Galway had almost twice as many hand passes as Donegal had. So I think in terms of using possession, they got things right tactically, but the execution of it in the final third just wasn't as good as it should have been.
David, are you confident though going into the game?
No, these are two teams that are on, showing great form coming into it. What happened 2 or 3 years ago in the All-Ireland semi-final is long forgotten about, because I think the positive from a Donegal perspective is that they've tweaked a few things since the Ulster final. They've probably identified a few areas where they need to improve, change and get stronger. And they did that yesterday, but it's without a doubt, no matter what happens, we're going next Monday morning here, we're going to be talking about what a classic of a game that was in Croke Park at the weekend between Donegal and Mayo.
So if you have to call it?
I think Mayo are going to win it by 2 or 3 points, but it's going to be a cracker of a game.
Tyrone and Monaghan is the other big game. Now Tyrone just seemed to kind of cruise through the Sligo game on Saturday. Does it seem like Mickey Hart's replenished his team?
3 or 4 years ago, we started to see Darren McCurry kick points on the flash, getting the ball without even looking, kicking it over the bar. And when they get out of Ulster, he tends to get in a little bit more space. Now, he mightn't get it next weekend against Monaghan, but he will get a small bit more space in Croke Park. And like Sean Kavanagh is still one of the most influential footballers in Ireland. No more than Michael Murphy or Aidan O'Shea, the more you can get him on the ball, the better for your team. And I think Tyrone, if not quite in that elite bracket, aren't a million miles off it.
Now, David, it's time for our Championship Challenge quiz. As you know, your fellow Aircom ambassadors have all failed to get their 3 questions right and had to do a challenge. We're going to have a quick look at Ciaran Whelan's now. He had to wear the Meath jersey and do the crossbar challenge.
Apologise profusely to any Dublin fans in advance. I'm not happy about this, to be honest. But let's give it a go. Hit it! Oh!
You have to get all your 3 questions right, and if you fail to get your 3 questions right, you have to do a challenge.
This is what I'm worried about. Go on.
Yeah, the challenge is great. You're going to like this, Conor, as a dub. David has to wear Ciaran Whelan's jersey and hold a sign saying how great Ciaran Whelan is. That sounds lovely, doesn't it?
Can I write the sign?
It has to be complimentary, though.
It'll definitely be complimentary.
Great, right, we'll get to it. Which manager referred to his side as startled earwigs in 2009? A. Mickey Whelan,
Pat
B.
Gilroy.
Paul Gaffrey, or C. Pat Gilroy.
I've been studying for that. I'm telling you now, I'm not going to get one of these wrong.
They're going to get harder now. Who scored a phantom point for Cavan against Derry in the 1997 Ulster final? A. Shawnee Johnston, B. Mick Higgins, or C. Raymond Cunningham?
Mick Higgins.
Okay.
I know that's right.
Okay, we'll see now.
So I've one left, and if I get it right, I don't have to
You're
do the
more
challenge.
confident about that now than you are about Mayo winning on Saturday. In 1975, tackling the goalkeeper where was outlawed? A. in the penalty area, B. in the parallelogram, or C. in his own half?
Right, I think, because it definitely was, it was probably the parallel.
Yes, you're correct.
Graham.
However, you got the one about...
Mick Higgins.
He's wrong. It was Raymond Cunningham. So you're going to have to wear the Dublin jersey and say something lovely about Ciaran Whelan.
I'd rather go naked than wear a Dublin jersey, to be honest with you.
I think we would rather that you wear the Dublin jersey. So that's it. Thanks to David and to Conor. And I think we're going to be counting down the minutes until Saturday's All-Ireland football quarterfinals. And we'll be back then on Monday to talk about all things football. Many thanks.
Nice.